If you own a Sony ZV-E10, you might want to invest in some accessories like microphones or vlogging tripods to get the most out of your camera. In today's video, I'm going over my personal top 5 accessories that I use with my Sony ZV-E10. This video is not sponsored or anything, but full disclaimer, the gear from SmallRig that I mentioned in this video was sent over for me to review. But as always, you will get my honest opinion on any of the gear that I review here on this channel, so without any further ado, let's dive in. Kicking things off, we have the SmallRig cage for the Sony ZV-E10. This is literally my #1 accessory that I didn't know I needed, but it adds so much value to the camera. With the grip attached, you get a much bigger grip and a bunch of additional mounting options, while you still have access to the battery and SD card. It just adds a little bit of extra protection to the camera, and due to the added weight and bigger grip, it allows for a much smoother video shooting experience. Again, I didn't know I needed a cage until I had one, and it kind of makes your ZV-E10 feel like an FX30. Moving on, let's look into microphones. While the in-body microphones of the ZV-E10 are okay, it is always better to attach an external microphone, and right here I have 3 options for you. Okay, so first up is the Vimo C from Comica. I've recently reviewed this microphone here on the channel. Of course, links to all the gear and related videos will be down in the video description, but this microphone actually really surprised me. The 2 microphones and the receiver come in this nice and light charging case, and the audio quality you get out of these tiny little microphones is actually pretty good. The Vimo C is a great alternative to the DJI wireless mic, which is actually the next microphone we are going to look into. The DJI wireless mic is similar to the Vimo C in a lot of ways, but it is also more advanced. And while I don't want to get too much into detail in this video, the DJI mic, for instance, allows you to record directly into the submitter without the receiver being attached to the camera. Another feature that I love about the DJI mic is that you can attach it magnetically. On the other hand though, the DJI wireless mic comes in at almost double the price of the Vimo C, and currently I gravitate more towards the Vimo C when I'm out vlogging. That said, both of the microphones are fantastic, but the Vimo C is the better deal, and I also like the sound quality of the Vimo C a tiny bit better. Again, I do have videos on both of these microphones here on the channel, and I will have them linked down in the video description. The Vimo C and the DJI mic are 2 wireless options, but if you're looking for a vlogging microphone that you can attach on top of your camera, my #1 recommendation is the Rode VideoMic NTG. This is a great shotgun mic, and due to the form factor, it gives off a little bit of a better quality compared to the wireless options, but of course the downsides are pretty obvious. You will always have to be right in front of your camera. Okay, so this is a quick indoor vlogging test. We are currently listening to the Rode VideoMic NTG, and we are now going to compare it to the DJI wireless mic and the Comica Vimo C. Okay, and we are now listening to the audio from the Comica Vimo C. As you can see, it is attached right here to my sweatshirt. Of course, keep in mind the Rode VideoMic NTG, just because of the form factor, should have a little bit of a better quality. But again, this is just an example, or for you to get an idea how the microphone sounds. Okay, and right now we are listening to the audio from the DJI wireless mic. As you can see, I have it sit right here with the magnet mount. What do you think? I'm gonna talk a little bit here for you guys to get an idea how that sounds and how it compares to the other microphones. Moving on, we have the Peak Design capture clip and quick release plate. I use the Peak Design system for all of my cameras, and I have a capture clip on all of my backpacks. And since their quick release plates are Arca Swiss compatible, I can easily switch cameras between all my tripods. I cannot stress how important that is for me personally, because the last thing you want to do is to switch out different plates just to move the camera from one tripod to another. I would go so far and say that this is my #1 accessory for the ZV-10, or basically for any camera. So yeah, again, if you want to pick one up, link will be down in the video description. Okay, now let's talk about lenses. I've used a bunch of Sony APS-C lenses with the ZV-E10 and ended up switching to the Sigma lenses. The lens that I have attached right now is the Sigma 30mm f1.4, and the lens that I use for vlogging is the Sigma 16mm f1.4. As you can tell, I'm more of a fan of having a few prime lenses, and while I haven't tried any of the G Master or more expensive Sony lenses, I think these Sigma lenses are just such a great value for money. For instance, I tested the Sony 35mm f1.8 against the Sigma 30mm f1.4, and I like the colors better. Also, the Sigma lens was a tiny bit sharper compared to the Sony lens, and to me personally, it just gave off a little bit of a better look here in this studio setup. Also, the Sigma 16mm f1.4 is basically one of the best vlogging lenses that you can get. So yeah, I'm just a big fan of these Sigma lenses. I use both of these lenses mostly for videography, but they also work great for photography. If you're looking for a zoom lens on the other hand, and if you're looking for a good all-rounder, you might want to look into the 18 to 50mm f2.8. Anyways, that is it for the lenses. Of course, you might have entirely different use cases, so I would love to hear your recommendations down in the comments below. Okay, so before we move on, if you found this video helpful so far, consider leaving a like and maybe even a comment down below. That will help to get this video in front of other people just like you. Also, if you're new here and interested in that type of content, consider subscribing. Okay, so let's have a look at my vlogging tripods. First up, there is the SmallRig vlogging kit. This kit comes with the tripod, an Arca Swiss compatible base plate, and a vlogging light that you can put on top of your hot shoe. The tripod itself is built like a tank. You can rotate it like this. I don't know if you can see that. And it has a nice ball head here that is adjustable and also allows for vertical filming. Also, as I said, the base plate on top here is Arca Swiss compatible, and you can throw on that base plate that is included in the kit. Of course, you will not need that base plate if you already have the SmallRig cage, but it is nice that they have included that in the kit. Okay, so last but not least, there is the PGY-TECH Mantis Pod Pro. And while this is a very expensive vlogging tripod, I've used it ever since it came out. I don't use it as much for that Mantis option that it has, but I actually love that snap lock system that it offers, which is also compatible with the Peak Design quick release plate. If you're interested in the Mantis Pod Pro, you might want to look into the Mantis Pod 2 that they've released recently, because that is basically an upgraded version of the Mantis Pod Pro, but it is actually, I think, half the price. The Mantis Pod Pro currently comes in, I think, at 150 bucks, while you can get the entire SmallRig vlogging kit for only 80 bucks, I think it is, down here in Germany. Alright, these are my top 5 accessories for the Sony ZV-E10 and maybe even some alternative options for that. If I had to choose, here are the accessories that I would go with. The cage, 100%. I didn't know I needed that until I had it. It's a great addition to the ZV-E10, especially if you are recording B-roll. Then for the microphone, I'm gravitating to the Vimo C a little more currently. It is just a better deal, and I think it offers the right amount of options for you to just hit record and get going. For the lenses, of course, we are going with the Sigma lenses. If I had to choose one, I would probably go with the 16mm f1.4, but if you can afford it, look into the Sigma Trio or consider the zoom lens that I mentioned earlier. And then lastly, of course, there is the quick release system from Peak Design. I would not want to miss that. This is probably my #1 must-have accessory for the ZV-E10. If you don't own a Sony ZV-E10 yet and you're considering buying one, make sure to watch the video on the end screen because I share my experience with it after using it for 12 months. But anyways, I think that wraps it up for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.